Hi everybody, Chef Shane here, and I want to teach you how to make a fresh tomato sauce. Just a reminder, I'm cooking my pasta in boiling water, salted so that it tastes like the sea. It seems like a lot of salt, but if it doesn't taste like the sea, it's just not right. And also, while you cook your pasta, remember, don't cook your pasta with a lid on. Rather, cook your pasta with a lid off. That way you can sort of be on game, in charge. I've got a hot saute pan here. I am ready. I'm going to put in 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And I'm going to immediately add in this garlic, diced garlic. And I'm going to try to dump it not on the oil, but rather on the dry side so that it'll get sizzled. Now I'm going to shake it around so that it actually starts really sizzling. That's the small ingredient. Immediately I want to add my large ingredient. There's a special sequence that I'd like to go with. It's called small, large, wet, fresh. Start with a small, in oil, add the large atop. I still have not stirred it, so I'm just going to let it cook with the small garlic sizzling, the larger onions and carrots above it. And the goal is to sort of smother the garlic, but still let it brown a little bit. I'm going to let this cook for a few moments or two. As I continue, about a minute has passed and my garlic is in the olive oil. It's still sizzling. It's starting to get light brown. I've yet to stir it. I'm going to stir it for the first time now by shaking it around, tossing it a little bit. I see that I'm starting to get a little bit of browning on my garlic, whereas the onions and carrots that I placed atop of the garlic are just starting to steam slightly. I want this to be the color brown. Imagine like a light color coconut. And we're going to let it get pretty darn brown. In the meantime, I have all of my ingredients ready, which is, the ingredients ready would be called the mise en place. Olive oil, salt, oregano, black pepper, balsamic vinegar, basil, chili flakes because I like them, and some additional tomatoes. Don't forget the anchovy paste or the fresh anchovies, and of course the diced tomatoes. All right, what I'm looking at is a nice dark brown saute. Hope I can get over here and see it a little bit. You got the garlic browning underneath there. It's getting quite brown up there. That's what I want. Without that, I just don't have the full flavor. All right, so I'm cooking on medium speed, about 8. Now, in my professional world, I would probably cook on 10. Now I'm going to take my tomatoes on a plate. I'm going to push the tomatoes from the plate into the saute pan. Notice my hand over here that holds the plate never gets above the saute pan. Why? Because I don't want to sizzle my hand. Push them in, it'll start sizzling. I do not stir at this point. This is the critical error that many people make. I'm going to spread the tomatoes atop of the garlic onion mixture, garlic onion carrot mixture. I'm going to spread it atop to smother it and to sort of reduce the frying, but the garlic will still be cooking directly on the pan base. Here's what it looks like. All right, so at this point, I can basically add all of my remaining ingredients, which is, for the sake of simplicity for the student, 1/2 teaspoon of each. 1/2 teaspoon of oregano, 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. Now notice I put this in my palm of my hand. If you pinch, you just do not get an accurate measurement. 1/2 teaspoon of basil. And because I'm a frisky fellow, I want to go with some chili flakes. Just going to shake them in directly. And I'm going to put that is all my 1/2 teaspoons. Now I'm going to add my, actually no, now I'm just going to pause and let it cook a little bit longer here. Well, I've got all my dry ingredients in. I put my small stuff in first, my large stuff atop it, my wet stuff, which is going to be tomato, balsamic vinegar. I put anchovy in the middle and chopped it all up. Remember, you've got 5 flavors: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami, which can also be said to be savory. I'm going to now cook this for upwards of 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, and should be rather tasty. I will check the salt level here. In fact, it needs salt because I forgot to put salt in it. There we go. Everything else tastes pretty good. The sequence, small, large, wet. Now, if we have fresh, that would be the end of the sequence. Small, large, wet. This is essentially ready to go, folks. Thank you. I hope you have a good meal. We'll place that atop of some chicken. Bon appetit.
I added the balsamic during the cutaway, so don't forget to add the 1 to 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. You could use red wine, but we can't really get away with the red wine in a public school.